We're here at AUSA 2017. I'm speaking with Steve Zink, Chief Operations Officer, AM General. We're standing beside AM General's proposal to the US Army for the FMTV A2 requirement. Now, Steve, trucks and AM General, most people probably associate AM General with Humvees, nothing else. Could you perhaps, for those that may not be aware of AM General's legacy, perhaps briefly outline some of that to us?
Well, first, AM General is involved in a broad spectrum of vehicle production, including defense and commercial. We are the fourth largest commercial manufacturer in the world, first largest in the United States relative to commercial production. We're just finishing up a commercial program with Mercedes. Additionally, we've got 100 years in the tactical wheeled vehicle industry, producing trucks ranging, you mentioned the Humvee. Yes, that's primarily what we're recognized for today, but we've produced light, medium, and heavy vehicles through that 100-year history. So the FMTV is just a natural fit for AM General.
And clearly the A2 program is at its very early stages, so you're not going to be able to say too much about the platform you're showing. But is there anything you can tell us about its configuration and the drivers behind it?
Well, we can talk about the drivers, and effectively that's coming through the RFP and the requirements document from the U.S. Army. And there's an upgrade to the FMTV A2 from the predecessor vehicles to address survivability issues, to address performance issues, to address mobility. So there are specific criteria in the RFP that identify improvements to protection, increased horsepower, improvements in ride quality, increased electronics and safety elements that will benefit the soldier in completing their mission.
And standing here looking at the platform behind us, it appears to have the same cab as the current A1P2, but with a bonneted configuration. Is there anything you can say about that?
Well, what's interesting with what you've just described is the FMTV A2 requirements. It really started out as a build to a TDP. But as I mentioned, all of those improvements that are requested by the customer, when you look at the current configuration versus the improvements requested, what you're effectively doing is trying to rebalance the iron triangle, and that's U.S. Army terminology for balancing protection, payload, and performance. So when you look at the original TDP, you look at the new requirements, there is some reconfiguration required. However, there is a strong element of consistency in some of the elements of the design from the original A1P2 to the A2.
And with regards to the program in general, are there any details of projected quantities, potential timeline, or anything like that that you can disclose?
The general requirements of the program I can talk about at a high level. Last fall the RFP came out and we began preparing responses to that. The due date on that and the submittal was early May of 2017. They went into the evaluation period, and we're now in discussions. We expect discussions to close and any final proposal revisions to be submitted in the very near future. And then the ultimate award would be made early next year.
And of course, FMTV A2 to one side, I'm assuming AM General continues to press on with Humvee. Are there any Humvee updates that you can give us to conclude?
There's a lot of activity going on with regard to the Humvee. Just recently we were awarded a 5-year, multi-year requirements type contract for primarily FMS requirements, so we're fulfilling those. The Humvee is still very relevant in the forces and is expected to continue for the foreseeable future, both domestically and internationally.